This morning, just say to them, growing where you are planted. Amen. You may be seated. So on the walkway up from the road to the front door of our house, Pastor Jeff, when he was visiting with us, he said, this is really interesting because the front door of the house is really on the side of the house, about 2/3 of the way back into the house. That's the front door. You know, what looks like the front door from the front is actually the garage door, right? So you have to walk all the way in to get to the front door of the house. And as you walk along that sidewalk, you pass a royal palm that is growing there on the side. I know it's a royal palm because it has a crown on the top of it, right? No, I'm kidding, but anyway. Any of you have royal palms? Do you know what a beautiful tree they are? Do you know what a pain, Karen's saying, oh,
really dirty.
They are, right? Because the royal palm puts out seeds. The pods that grow at the top of the tree are filled with seed buds at first, of course. So the first thing when the pod opens, all the buds come flying down. And at that point already, the tree is actually doing some good, because if you ever look up at that point, you'll see bees swarming all around, pollinating all those buds. And it's actually really quite something to see. And in a time and an age when bees are in such a bad situation, it's been a really tough time. It's good to see bees having some nectar to get and pollinating, and they're preparing. But then the seeds grow. And you know it takes a while. And of course the seeds start to drop. And they drop everywhere. All over the sidewalk. Don't walk on our sidewalk barefoot, because it will hurt your feet as you're walking along there. I sometimes, you look and you say, oh, I really need to sweep today and collect them all up. And you collect them all up, and about a half an hour after you collect them all up, they're all back again. And it keeps on going. And every so often, the stem from the pod, will be empty, and it'll dry up and it'll fall down. And when that comes down, you're like, oh, thank God. We have a reprieve. There's a time that we're not going to have to clean up the seeds. But guess what? There are 2, 3, 4 other pods that are maturing at different speeds and at different times. And they're going to start dropping their seeds as well. So it just kind of is an ongoing thing. My landscaper, not my landscaper, but the guy who does the community, I've asked him if there's anything he could do about it. He says, I don't have any equipment that will reach that high. It is so high. I mean, if you stacked our house up 3 levels on top of each other, you'd still not be as tall as that tree is. It's so high up. He says, I have nothing that I can use to reach that. And he says, you can't climb up it with spikes because it would damage the tree. You have to get a cherry picker to come in to cut the pods off. Well, I don't know about all of that, so we kind of keep on doing the cleanup. In the meantime, we know that the tree is providing food. I mean, the squirrels are up there, they're enjoying, the blue jays, other birds are up there, they're all enjoying. It's part of being in paradise for them as they're enjoying the food and everything that's being provided. But not all of the seeds land on the sidewalk. It seems that way. Some of them land in the beds. And faster than you can sweep them up, they germinate. And so you've got it looks like shoots of grass, really strong grass that's starting to come up, that you need to get back in there and weed. And a whole bunch of those seeds, actually, they don't germinate. Some of them just fall and die. And in their falling and dying, they're providing food and sustenance for the few that are making it and that are coming up, and they're helping those to come on and become, little trees. So we try to get it all cleaned up, but once in a while, I guess maybe because a bird will pick up a seed and it'll drop it somewhere, as it's going around the corner of the house. Sometimes you'll just come around some part of the yard and you'll see there it is growing, this little baby royal palm. I mean, that you're like, how did that get there? How did that happen? And there it is growing, didn't plant it. The royal palm is like smiling, as, yep, I got one past you there, didn't I? And it's got this tree that's starting to grow there. And sometimes we have to pull it out, sometimes we can leave it stay. But I think that the royal palm is kind of like King Solomon today. The royal palm is praying for wisdom and is providing for its community, right? I mean, not only providing for itself, I mean, it wants an heir. It really wants to have a tree that will grow up next to it and will be its prized possession, if you will, right? Just like all of us want our children to grow up, it wants another tree to grow. But in the process, the tree is providing for the whole community in some way or another, except for Nancy and me, who have to keep on cleaning up the seeds on our sidewalk so that we can walk there. And it's amazing how small the seed was. You know, Karen, you obviously know what they look like. They're tiny seeds, but they grow into these huge trees. And that's all it takes, is this tiny little seed to become a huge royal oak, and we could grow some here for sure. Well, Solomon prayed the same way. Solomon prayed that he might be a blessing to his community. He didn't ask for riches or well-being or long life. He didn't ask for the life of others, his enemies, for anybody's head on a platter or anything like that. He just asked, Lord, give me wisdom, so that I can rule well, so that I can do well, so that I can be a blessing to my whole community and to the larger and extended community as well. Because if you're being blessed and others who are around you are receiving that as well. And so he said, Lord, among this people who are so great and so numerous, kind of like the seeds falling from that tree, there are so many of them. I need your wisdom, Lord, to be able to rule and guide and govern well. And so I was thinking about what we've been going through in the last few weeks with our Dream Leaders Initiative and the things that we shared together, and how that all ties together with our gospel this morning as well, where Jesus gives us parable after parable, almost like the seeds, right? They're just like one more and one more and one more coming forth. And it's just kind of like Jesus is giving us seeds to sow and to put out there in the community, wherever they may go, prodigiously. Just get them out there, give them out freely, and see what happens. Some of them will grow, some of them will take root, some of them will become trees. Who knows what they will become? But as we pray for God's wisdom, as we pray for God's strength to do whatever it is that we are able, God says, I will take care of the rest. There was a quote that Pastor Lindman shared with us. It was actually a quote that he shared from Pastor Robert Schuller from some years before from the Crystal Cathedral, if you recall that. And his quote was, "Dream dreams that are big enough that you will fail miserably, except by the help of God." What a thing to say. Dream a dream that is so big that it is doomed to fail miserably, except by the help of God. And so the parables of Jesus are laid out for us as a way of making this all real. Because we are the ones whom God has anointed and appointed to go forth and share the good news and to make something happen. Each of these parables, if you find nothing else that holds them together, each one of them assumes or presumes that the person in the parable has something in their hand, something that they're holding on to, and they need to do something with it. They need to go out and make something happen. Now, the something doesn't necessarily look like it's very big, but it turns out that the growth is not up to us. That's up to God. What is up to us is just simply getting out there and doing whatever it is. How many of you look carefully at the bulletin covers in the morning when you read them? when you look at the front cover and it says, "The kingdom of heaven is like malware." What? Does that strike you? Does that jar you if you're into the computer business at all in some way? I mean, what is malware?
A virus.
A virus, right? A virus that infects your computer, your system, right? It gets in there. It's just a small little something. It gets in there, and then what does it do? Perfect word. It infects the whole system, right? It's just a little small something, and it gets in there and infects the whole system. I picked this as the cover this week because when we hear what we're supposed to be like, we hear good things. And malware, you know, I don't know anybody standing online saying, "Boy, I hope I got some malware on my computer this week," you know? That would be great, right? We don't think that way. But we should think of it that way because the way Jesus presented the parables, it was the same way. You see, we read, for example, the woman with the yeast and the flour. We think that's a good thing, right? Because some of us are bakers and, you know, Mac, you need to have some yeast in there, right, to make the flour rise, right? So that's a good thing. We want to do that. But you know what? In that time, yeast wasn't considered a good thing. It would infect the unleavened bread. You know, that was important to Jewish people. Unleavened bread was important to them. And to put yeast into it was not a good thing. And if it infected the whole batch, that was not a positive. It was a negative. But yet here, the woman is taking the flour and mixing it in with some leaven. Now, the word mixed in Greek is encrypto. And you're saying, well, does that sound like anything? Maybe if you're into spy business, you've encrypted something, or if you're in the computer business, right? If you send a message, this has been encrypted so that nobody else can read it. Encrypto is the Greek word that is used to say how she puts the leaven into the flour. She hides it into the flour. She mixes in that little bit, and then it takes off, right? It spreads until all the flour, until all the loaf has been leavened. And so it's this amazing thing that's taking place there. And just like the malware takes over our system when we least expect it. And here this woman is hiding this little bit of leaven, this little bit of yeast, into, it says 3 measures, right? Now, if you're like me, I read the 3 measures, and in my mind I say, 3 cups maybe? Sounds about right. Well, a measure is much, much more than that. I mean, we're talking about like a good 10, 12 pounds of flour that she's working with here. It's a huge amount. It's way more than you need. For what did Jesus ask her to pray for? Our daily bread. It's way more than you need for your daily bread. But this little bit of yeast, this little bit of leaven that comes in and infects all the flour, all the dough that is there, until it's able to rise and it becomes the bread that will feed a festival, a great banquet of people who will come and who will receive just from the woman's little bit of yeast that she adds in. So do you see the connection? Just a little something that we have, that we take, and we put it into the work of the kingdom of God. And something begins to take place, something begins to take shape. And so as her feast begins to take shape, a lot of people can come and eat from this feast, from this festival, just like the birds and the squirrels come and eat from the seeds that fall from that tree in our front yard. There is something happening here for the entire kingdom of God to take place. And we have to be willing, as the people of God, to take what we have, what little it is, and share it, and give it away, and watch how what we have to give away becomes something really great. When we met together for Dream Leaders, first night that we met together. Friday night, we were at the Las Vegas Cuban, and somebody is going to figure out for me why Las Vegas and Cuban is a connection, because I sure don't get it, but it's okay. Food was great.
It's not Las Vegas as the city. It's Las Vegas is at the Tobacco.
Like a prairie.
Yeah.
Las Vegas. It's the
That's
Spanish
called
word.
Las Vegas. The Vega, the tobacco Vega is like a plant,
Right, like a field, a field. Las Vegas is the field, yeah.
Ask and you shall be given. So it's not about the city. I could never figure that out. Okay.
It's not Sin City, Pastor, no.
Not Sin City.
Not Sin City.
And we had a wonderful time there. In fact, we haven't done that in so long. Gathering together. And I could actually look around and see on people's faces that as we were gathering together, as we were figuring out what the weekend was going to be like, that people were almost on the side of being emotional just for the gathering, because we haven't done it in so long, and it didn't take all that much. We had some organizing to do, and then we made it happen, and we had a wonderful evening, and it set the pace, and it set the tone for the weekend that we had together, and for the long day Saturday that we spent together working through some things that were both difficult and joyful. And as we saw that unfold, it was happening. It just takes us to give what we have a little bit. It does require sacrifice. It does take us giving up what we have, but the return for it is amazing. And God has plans for us. And so when we go forth with the Dream Leaders Initiative on our hearts and our minds and in our spirits, we know that God is saying, go ahead, give it out, give it away. There is more to come. Pastor Jeff left with me some pages called Action Steps, which I'm going to send out to folks this week. It's just 2 pages for your consideration. And the 2 pages have 3 items, which if you'll allow me just to highlight what those 3 items were. The first is encouragement. We need to encourage one another. And sometimes the encouragement is even talking about the things that aren't well. Because in talking about them, we put them out there and we depower them. Instead of them having power over us, we know what they are and we can move on. And we did that on Saturday extensively. The second one is inspiration. It is awakening within us and understanding that we are here to have a kingdom impact. Think about that. We are here to make a difference in our community and in our world. And we can say, oh, but we're just this one little small church called Living Faith. What can we possibly do? Jesus started with 12. And one of them wasn't fully on the team, okay? And so there's more than that here. So can we have an impact? Yes, we can. We can be the leaven. We can be the malware that gets into the system and says things the way they are don't have to be that way. They can change. So we can have an awakening and an inspiration to have a kingdom impact. And I really want to encourage you folks, if you were there and if you weren't there, talk to somebody who was and share with them what your hopes are, what your dreams are, what your thoughts are, what you would like to see happening in our community. And how are those like Solomon, right? Not for himself. It's not so that Living Faith would grow. It's so that we would make an impact. And by doing that, we will grow, but that's not the first purpose. And so it happens. And then finally, item 3, this is the challenge. Facing the giants. Identifying obstacles. Things that stand in the way. And developing strategies. And our council is going to be doing that, but all of us are involved in doing that. And I was just so thrilled, Marissa, today when we had this reading from Romans, because there was just so much in here to strengthen us and encourage us that I just have to repeat a few pieces of this. Because we do not walk this walk alone. We do not walk as if the world is on our shoulders. The world is on Jesus' shoulders, and we're walking to carry it out. So Paul identifies with us and for us that God is walking with us. So hear these few excerpts from Romans to close us out this morning. He says, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. For we do not know how to pray as we ought, but that very Spirit intercedes with sighs too deep for words. What a beautiful image. He goes on, he says, we know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. Even when things don't look well, keep your mind and your eyes on the fact that with God all things work out well. He says, if God is for us, who can be against us? We can accomplish, we can achieve. Who, he asks, will separate us from the love of Christ? And here's one of my favorites. He says, in all these things, we are more than conquerors. We will overcome. And this last piece, I'm going to ask you just to even repeat it with me, because this is just powerful. Where he says, for I am convinced that neither death, say neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor rulers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor anything else in all creation, will be able to separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus our Lord.
Amen.
What a powerful word. What a powerful promise. And so I say to you this morning boldly, go share some seeds. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.